I got a new hat. It's not really a new hat, but I haven't recorded wearing this hat in the past, so it's the first video with this hat. And of course, welcome back to Mac Music Review, where I review it so you don't have to, except that some people have already reviewed this album, and the album I'm talking about today is Unleashed by Skillet. Unleashed is in a weird place. The legacy of this album is a little bit weird and in the sphere of music criticism because, weirdly enough, extremely randomly, Fantano has reviewed this on his channel and he gave it a not good. And then ARTV reviewed it and it basically agreed with everything Fantano said and said it was terrible. And a little bit of precursor. Skillet is the biggest Christian rock band. They're just the most popular. They do have some crossover appeal outside of Skillet, the band, in the world of Christian rock music. They have some hardcore fans, especially thanks to this massive hit, I believe in the early 2000s, called Monster on one of their older albums. Or maybe it was the late 2000s. I actually think it's the late 2000s, like 2008. But anyway, they got a lot of hits on YouTube. They got millions of hits. They have millions and millions of views on like every single song from this album. And there's just a massive fan base. And this album actually is somewhat popular and successful. Besides, I don't think having any radio play. And I believe that it is this big, this oddly huge fan base for this really, kind of paint by numbers Christian rock band that really pushed them into the spotlight and had Fantano reviewing them and ARTV. If you're in the world of rock music, you've definitely heard of Skillet and are familiar with a few of their songs. They even have some song that's like a hit on Christian contemporary music radio from one of their like obscure, the Alien album. I don't remember what the name of the album is specifically. But of course, today we're talking about Unleashed. Weirdly enough, I actually find much of this album to be somewhat enjoyable. It is loud. It is, the processed electric guitars, but and they do their Christian what they do on a few tracks is the whole Christian contemporary music thing, like songs like Lions and Watching for Comets and frickin' Stars, and then the rest of the album. Basically, the rest of the album is them just going hard rock, but in your face, we're going to burn it down. Generic lyrics insert fighting against the machine. Even when the verses and the lyrics aren't that strong on the album, I believe the album really does have a lot of explosive hooks. Things like Feel Invincible, Back from the Dead, Out of Hell especially. I love the hook on Out of Hell. Burn It Down, just talked about on the channel. I'll link that in the description. I think that has a pretty solid hook. And then there is the song The Resistance, which actually has a really cool instrumental outro. But just more than anything else, if you are listening to Unleashed, you are going to get dumb, fun, loud, high-energy rock music. And I really do think that most of it is just exactly what you could want if that is what you're looking for. If you're not looking for extremely deep or original or interesting lyrics, and I don't think a lot of people are when they listen to Skillet. I think with this album, they are delivering what they should be delivering and what the fan base should be expecting. Even with this somewhat low bar that I am setting, I'm like, if they can deliver somewhat hype and high energy rock music, there still are those slower, more like Christian contemporary music songs. And out of those, I don't think they're great outside of Lions. And even Lions I wouldn't say is great, but I think there's enough going on lyrically there and enough going on in the hook for the song to stick and actually be kind of memorable. I wouldn't say that about Stars, and especially Watching for Comets, I think is a really bad song with a horrible hook. Just a really clunky, the vocal performance there. John Cooper's vocals are not meant for this, for this slow, like epic, or whatever, man. Whatever they're going for in Watching for Comets, it does not land. And then the song Saviors of the World is also just kind of annoying with this extremely outdated music that plays right at the beginning of the song. You immediately are like, what year is it when you're listening to it? And it doesn't get a whole lot better from there. That instrumental, intro kind of sets the tone, and it's not a great song. This album really does deliver on, I think, what it should promise or what you should expect as a freaking Skillet fan. I think there are Skillet fans also who dislike this album. Like, I don't know where exactly it stands in the fan base. I know it was wildly, like, popular and successful, and it did numbers on the charts. and it's, you know, it's got a lot of views. Like, it's got a lot of listens. This album is big. Probably one of their bigger ones, one of their biggest, I think, just based off what I've seen. But anyway, I think that the album really does get the job done in terms of just delivering this dumb, high energy rock music. You don't have to think too badly. You don't have to think too hard, and you should just chill out if you just hate this. And if you hate this, you're completely justified in hating it. That's what I'll say. But I really do think there's one specific audience for this, and that for that audience, this is definitely serviceable. It definitely gets the job done, and I'm giving it 3 stars out of 5. Weirdly enough, Unleashed is like might be my favorite Skillet album, because I really just, and it's weird because people really like put this like their older albums on like a high pedestal. Like Skillet fans put their older albums like say it's amazing, but I really just don't think it is. Like, we'll talk about it. I don't know which Skillet album I'm gonna review next, but the ones that I am reviewing are Comatose, Rise, and Awake. Comatose, Awake, and Rise. After this one, and we're gonna do those soon. But I will stay tuned if you want more Skillet content, because it's coming. Thanks for watching the video. Have a great rest of your day.